We have always looked to the heavens with a desperate, childlike longing for company, terrified of the silence, yet utterly unprepared for what that silence might be hiding. When we think of Mars, we picture a graveyard of rust and bone, a world that died a cold death billions of years ago. But what if the red planet isn't dead? What if it is merely holding its breath? There is a profound, suffocating dread in realizing that life does not need to look like us, breathe like us, or even share our genetic code to exist. This is the horror of the shadow biosphere. It is the chilling hypothesis that right beneath the frozen, irradiated topsoil of Mars, an alien tree of life has been growing in the dark, entirely parallel to our own, yet fundamentally incompatible with everything we know. To the human mind, this is not just a scientific curiosity, it is an existential threat. We suffer from a deep-seated evolutionary paranoia, a biological fear of the unseen. Our ancestors feared the predator crouching in the tall grass just beyond the firelight. Today, that fear has migrated to the stars. If a completely separate genesis of life occurred on our immediate neighbor, it means the universe is not a barren desert, but a crowded, hyperactive petri dish. And in a crowded universe, we are no longer special. We are merely prey waiting to be discovered. Imagine descending into the Stygian darkness of a Martian lava tube. The silence here is absolute, heavy enough to crush the lungs. Your headlamp cuts through the eternal gloom, reflecting off strange, glassy crusts on the basalt walls. It looks like salt, but it breathes. It consumes perchlorates and exhales gases that have no name in our chemistry books. This is a shadow ecology. It does not use DNA. It is a molecular stranger, an invisible empire of extremophiles that has survived for eons in the freezing, pressurized deep. To touch it would be madness. Our immune systems, honed by 4 billion years of earthly evolution, would have no vocabulary to fight a pathogen born of a different genesis. It would not even recognize us as living hosts, yet it could dismantle our biology at the molecular level, treating our bodies as raw, unorganized matter. This is the core psychological horror of Mars. We are drawn to it by our insatiable curiosity, yet repulsed by the instinct of self-preservation. We desperately want to find life, but we are terrified of what happens when we realize we cannot coexist with it. The red planet is not a vacant house waiting for us to move in. It is a locked cellar. And something in the dark is waiting for us to turn the key. Look closely at the rust-colored dust of the Martian plains. We have spent decades searching for our mirror image in the stars, for water, for DNA, for the familiar warmth of a sister genesis. But we are looking through the narrow, arrogant lens of our own biology. What if the red desert is not dead, but merely waiting, hosting a presence so alien it remains utterly invisible to our instruments? This is the terror of the shadow biosphere. For billions of years, Mars has kept a devastating secret deep beneath its frozen, radiation-scarred crust. While we search for the organic fingerprints of life as we know it, we ignore the possibility of a second genesis, a dark, alternative tree of life that never shared our ancestors, our genetic code, or our biochemistry. Imagine microscopic entities that do not breathe oxygen or feed on sunlight, but instead thrive in the crushing, pitch-black silence of subterranean aquifers. They may possess a reversed molecular chirality, or swap phosphorus for arsenic, utilizing metabolic pathways that defy the very definition of biology. They do not leave the chemical signatures our rovers are programmed to find. To our sensors, they are nothing but inert stone. To stand on the surface of Mars is to stand on the ceiling of an abyss. Beneath the soles of our boots, miles into the basalt bedrock where natural radioactivity fractures water molecules in the dark, a silent, parallel empire may be breathing. It is a biosphere that does not know us, does not need us, and operates on a chemical logic so foreign it borders on the supernatural. This is the ultimate existential horror. If life could begin twice in our own solar system, using entirely different blueprints, then the universe is not a sterile void waiting for human footsteps. It is a crowded, suffocating theater of competing creations. We are not the crown of existence, we are merely one fragile branch of a cosmic experiment. As we prepare to dig into the Martian soil, we must ask ourselves, are we ready to awaken a shadow that has slumbered in the dark since the dawn of time, or will we find that the alien we seek is already watching us from the cracks in the stone? We have spent decades staring at the rusted, bone-dry deserts of Mars, comforting ourselves with a convenient eulogy. We told ourselves that if life ever existed here, it died billions of years ago when the atmosphere bled into the void. We assumed the red planet was a corpse. We were wrong. Life on Mars did not suffer an extinction. It staged a retreat. Far beneath the frozen, radiation-blasted surface lies a labyrinth of absolute darkness. Deep inside collapsed volcanic arteries, pressurized salt cavities, and boiling, subterranean aquifers, something is breathing. But do not picture microbes like our own. Do not look for the familiar, double helix signature of DNA or the elegant machinery of RNA. What dwells in the crushing, hot pressure of the Martian deep is a completely independent genesis. It is a shadow tree of life, a biology so profoundly alien that it operates under biochemical rules we cannot comprehend. It does not bask in sunlight, it feeds on the raw, toxic chemistry of a dying planet's core. It does not use water the way we do, it dissolves in solvents that would melt our cells to ash. To our most advanced rovers and spectrometers, this biosphere is entirely invisible. Our instruments scan the rocks and find nothing, not because the subterranean depths are barren, but because our science is blind to its existence. We are looking for our own reflection in the cosmic mirror, utterly oblivious to the monster standing right behind us. This is the terror of the shadow biosphere. It suggests that life is not a rare, delicate miracle unique to Earth's warm oceans, but an inevitable, aggressive contagion. It can rewrite the very laws of chemistry to survive in the pitch-black abyss. Down there, in the suffocating silence, a parallel creation is waiting. And as we prepare to drill into the Martian crust, we must ask ourselves, are we ready to awaken a biology that does not share a single atom of its heritage with our tree of life? Or will we find that the dark belongs to something that views our arrival not as a meeting of minds, but as an intrusion? We have always looked to the stars with a desperate, childish hope, praying to find our reflection in the cosmic dark. We wanted a brother, a sister, someone to tell us we are not alone. But the shadow biosphere of Mars offers no such comfort. It offers a mirror, yes, but one that is cracked, warped, and dripping with a cold, ancient malice. The human fear of Mars is not the fear of a barren desert, it is the primal terror of the unseen. It is the realization that life does not need our permission to exist, nor does it require our biochemistry to thrive. For centuries, we assumed that if we ever touched Martian soil, we would be the gods bringing light to a dead world. What a pathetic, fragile delusion. The shadow biosphere suggests that we are not the pioneers. We are the intruders. Imagine stepping onto the rust-red dust, the wind howling a low, dead note through your helmet. You think you are standing on sterile rock. But beneath your boots, in the freezing, hypersaline veins of the deep regolith, something is breathing. Not with lungs, but with a slow, geologic pulse. It is a form of life so radically alien, so fundamentally incompatible with our DNA, that our bodies would not even recognize it as living. To our immune systems, it would not be a disease, it would be a systematic rewriting of matter. A silent, microscopic invasion that dissolves our cellular walls not out of hunger, but out of sheer, indifferent chemistry. This is the true horror of the cosmos, absolute indifference. If we find a shadow biosphere on Mars, it means the universe is a breeding ground for things that do not care about our poetry, our art, or our existence. It means that life is a rampant, unstoppable contagion, and we are merely one fragile, accidental strain. We are terrified because we realize that if we bring those Martian shadow microbes back to Earth, our pristine blue oasis could be instantly, quietly consumed. Not by monsters with teeth, but by an invisible, alien biology that simply does not know how to let us exist. We went searching for our cosmic cousins, but in the dark, silent depths of Mars, we may finally awaken the thing that will replace us. The psychological terror of this topic is twofold. First, there is the terror of the mirror. If we find life on Mars and its genetic architecture is identical to ours, we are forced to confront a shattering truth: we are not special. We are merely a cosmic weed, a biological contagion carried on the back of asteroid debris, scattered blindly across a cold, indifferent system. It means the cradle of humanity was never Earth. It means our sacred home is just another landing pad, and we are the descendants of alien pathogens that drifted through the vacuum, mutated, and crawled out of the primeval mud. Every monument we have built, every tear we have shed, and every god we have worshipped would be nothing more than the byproduct of a hitchhiking Martian microbe. We would look into the microscope and see our true ancestor staring back, not a divine spark, but a mindless, ancient survival machine. But the second terror is far worse. It is the terror of the void. If we find life on Mars and it is completely, fundamentally alien, built on a different biochemistry, breathing a different fire, born of a separate genesis, then the universe is not empty. It is pregnant with life. And if life can ignite twice in one tiny solar system, then the cosmos is teeming with it. The silent, black canopy of the night sky is not a peaceful desert, it is a crowded, predatory jungle. Yet, we hear nothing. No signals, no ruins, no visitors. This is the crushing weight of the great filter. If life is that common, that easy to spark, then something out there is systematically extinguishing it. The silence of the stars ceases to be a mystery, it becomes a warning. It means that somewhere ahead of us, waiting in the dark, is a colossal, inevitable predator or a cosmic event that wipes the slate clean. By proving we are not alone, we prove that our executioner is already on the way. We are left trapped in a solar system that is either a sterile graveyard of our forgotten origins, or a brightly lit stage waiting for the hammer to fall. Either way, the red dust of Mars does not offer answers. It offers a mirror and a shroud.